remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center, pending when he meets his bail conditions. At the resumed hearing, the prosecution witness, who is a top official of the Corporate Affairs Commission, told the court that Emefiele was not the owner or a shareholder of the April 1616 Investment Limited, awarded 1.2 billion naira vehicle supply contract by CBN under Emefiele. He was led in evidence by EFCC lawyer Rotimi Oyedepo while tendering several documents on how the company was incorporated on August 1, 2016. Emefiele's lawyer, Matthew Boka, however, said Emefiele was yet to meet his bail conditions. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday said Nigeria's national defense and internal security are some of the top priorities of the 2024 budget of renewed hope. Tinubu said the national internal security architecture will be overhauled to enhance law enforcement capabilities with a view to safeguarding lives, property and investments across the country. He highlighted other priority areas such as local job creation, macroeconomic stability, investment environment optimization, human capital development, poverty reduction and social security. He said the proposed budget prioritizes human capital development with particular attention given to children because human capital remains the most critical resource for national development. It was reported on Thursday that Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Group, Afenifere, has urged the federal government to meet the December deadline for the operationalization of the Port Harcourt refinery. The Pan-Reuben Fashoranti-led group, in a statement after its meeting in Akure, the Ondo State capital, said meeting the December deadline will cushion the biting effect of the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, on Nigerians. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lopobiri, had in August pledged that the Port Harcourt refinery will be back on stream by December. According to the minister, the measure was part of the government's commitments to end petroleum products importation. With the removal of petrol subsidy in his inaugural speech on May 29, 2023, the price per litre of petrol rose from 184 naira to over 600 naira in most parts of the country. With the December deadline already here, Afenifere, in a statement signed by its spokesman, Jare Ajayi, urged the administration of President Bola Tinubu to meet the deadline. In another report on Friday, the federal government said a new minimum wage regime would come into effect on April 1, 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed, who disclosed this in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, said the current 30,000 naira minimum wage would expire at the end of March 2024. Mohammed said this as an analysis of the 2024 to 2026 fiscal framework budgets by newsmen indicated that the federal government will spend 24.66 trillion naira on salaries in 2024, 2025 and 2026. The federal government team and the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council on October 18, 2019 agreed on the implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage after months of negotiations. However, the labor unions have confirmed that they had started the negotiation process with the federal government, adding that based on the country's labor law, the minimum wage should be reviewed every 5 years. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll bring you business news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to business news. According to a report on Monday, pension fund administrators invested 130.18 billion naira funds under the contributory pension scheme in infrastructure as of the end of September 2023. Figures obtained from the National Pension Commission on unaudited report on pension funds industry portfolio for the period ended 30 September 2023 revealed. According to the figures, total assets under the contributory pension scheme stood at 17.35 trillion naira as of the period under review. Part of the funds were also invested in domestic and foreign ordinary shares, federal and state government securities, and money market instruments, among others. The Commission had, in its amended investment regulation, highlighted the requirements for investing the funds in line with the provisions of the Pension Reform Act 2014. It said the purpose of the regulation was to provide uniform rules and standards for the investment of pension fund assets. In Thursday's report, the federal government said there is an alarming surge of over 80% in food importation between 2019 and 2023. Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Agri-Businesses and Productivity Enhancement, disclosed this at the National Policy Dialogue in Abuja. The policy dialogue was tagged Deepening Partnership for Scaling Up of Information and Communication Technology for Development for Smallholder Farmers in Nigeria. It was organized by the federal government, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the National Information and Technology Development Agency. It said no fewer than 88.5 million Nigerians were faced with insufficient food consumption, while the figure was projected to increase by 6 million in December. Uzoma said the federal government was committed to reversing the trend. The Senior Special Assistant identified a decline in agricultural capacity as a major contributor, as the country is being forced to rely heavily on food imports. Now, also on Thursday, the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, and the Oil Producers Trade Section, OPTS, have met with oil firms and miners over how to enhance transparency and accountability in the nation's oil and gas and solid minerals sectors. Convened in Lagos by the OPTS, the forum, which was attended by the NATI team, led by its Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Orji Ogbonnaya, had representatives from Platform Petroleum, ND Western, and the National President of Miners Association of Nigeria, Dele Ayoleke, among others. Speaking at the event, Ogbonnaya explained that the NATI Companies Forum was a veritable platform through which the agency helped the country and the operating companies to comply with the Global Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. He stressed that participation at the highest level of NATI process was compulsory, assuring that NATI would work with OPTS to deepen and strengthen the company's forum, which is said witnessed a drawback due to the COVID-19 pandemic. You're still watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Coming up next is foreign news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to foreign news. North Korea on Tuesday made a rare mention of dissenting votes in recent elections, although analysts dismissed it as an attempt to portray an image of a normal society, rather than signaling any meaningful increase of ranks in the authoritarian state. The reclusive North has one of the most highly controlled societies in the world, with leader Kim Jong-un accused of using a system of patronage and repression to retain absolute power. Reporting on the results of last Sunday's election for deputies to regional people's assemblies, the North State media said 0.09% and 0.13% voted against the selected candidates for the provincial and city councils, respectively. The North Parliament and regional councils serve as a rubber stamp to the ruling Workers' Party, with their elections usually registering over 99% voter turnout. This month's election marked the first time North Korea has referred to dissenting votes in local polls since the 1960s, an official at the South Korea's Unification Ministry handling relations with the North said. Held every 4 years, the latest regional election was also the first poll since North Korea revised its election law in August to allow multiple candidates. Now, Turkey told Sweden it expects to ratify its long-delayed accession to the NATO military alliance within weeks. Sweden's foreign minister said on Wednesday. Sweden and Finland asked to join NATO last year after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. But Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, whose country is a NATO member, raised objections over what he said was the two countries' protection of groups that Ankara deems terrorists. Turkey endorsed Finland's membership bid in April, but has kept Sweden waiting. Turkey has demanded that Sweden take more steps to rein in local members of the Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK), which is considered a terrorist group by the European Union and the United States. In response, Stockholm introduced an anti-terrorism bill that makes membership of a terrorist organization illegal, while also lifting arms export restrictions on Turkey. It says it has upheld its part of a deal signed last year. Now, on Thursday, Russia's Supreme Court declared what it calls the International LGBT Public Movement an extremist organization and banned its activities across the country. The ruling was prompted by a motion from the Justice Ministry, even though no such organization exists as a legal entity. The hearing was held behind closed doors, but reporters were allowed in to hear the court's decision. Nobody from the defendant's side had been present, the court said. Russia's constitution was changed 3 years ago to make it clear that marriage means a union between a man and a woman. Same-sex unions are not recognized here, it added. Last year, those restrictions were extended to all age groups in Russia. References to LGBT people have been deleted from books, films, adverts, and TV shows. Under Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin has embraced an ideology centered around conservative thinking and traditional family values. The authorities portray LGBT activism as something inherently Western and hostile to Russia. Pressure on the LGBT community is presented as a means of defending the moral fabric of Russia. Now, Israeli warplanes resumed the pounding of Gaza. Palestinian civilians fled for shelter, and rocket sirens blared in southern Israel on Friday, as war resumed after a week-long truce collapsed with no deal to extend it. The Israeli military announced it had resumed combat operations, accusing Hamas of violating the truce, first firing rockets. It said its planes were bombing terrorist targets in the enclave. Hamas said Israel bore responsibility for the end of the truce, accusing it of rejecting all offers to release more of the hostages militants in the enclave are holding. In the north of the enclave, the main war zone before the truce, huge plumes of smoke rose above the ruins, seen from across the fence in Israel. Barely 2 hours after the truce expired, Gaza's Hamas-controlled health ministry reported that 54 people had already been killed in airstrikes. Barely 2 hours after the truce expired, Gaza's Hamas-controlled health ministry reported that 54 people had already been killed in airstrikes. The 7-day pause, which began on November 24 and was extended twice, had allowed for the exchange of hostages held in Gaza for Palestinian prisoners and facilitated the entry of humanitarian aid into the shattered coastal strip. Israel released a link to a map showing Gaza divided into hundreds of districts, which it said will be used in future to communicate which areas were safe. You're still watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Coming up next is Sports News. Stay tuned. Audio Welcome back to Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to the world of sport. The president of the Nigeria Referees Association, Sani Zubair, on Monday reiterated the body's commitment to ensure that referees performing below par were flushed out of the country's domestic leagues. Zubair said this to newsmen in Lagos against the backdrop of incessant cases of poor officiating by match officials. Reports showed that the 2023 and 2024 Nigeria Premier Football League season is 10 weeks old, but with deafening complaints about poor officiating. It was gathered that on November 6, the Nigeria Football Federation suspended 14 referees in the ongoing MPFL season over poor officiating. The president of the Nigeria Referees Association said, aside from the players, a referee has the utmost power to make or mar a match. Hence, measures have been put in place to serve as deterrents. In another story on Thursday, Norwegian football chief Liz Cleverness said FIFA has a responsibility to deliver the legacy it said it would of human rights in Qatar following the 2022 World Cup, but has not done so yet. A year on from the tournament, Cleverness has returned to Qatar to try to find out whether human rights in the Gulf state have been improved. Speaking from Doha, she told newsmen that the World Cup really pushed some very progressive changes over the treatment of migrant workers, but also said she had identified a struggle with implementation of reforms. Also on the issue of gay rights in Qatar, where same-sex relationships are illegal, Cleverness said matters are still as sensitive as controversial and have not moved at all. The former Norway international said she had returned to Qatar where she met with workers, authorities and NGO representatives a year on from the tournament in order to learn because they think these issues will come up again and again. In response, FIFA said its Human Rights and Social Responsibility Subcommittee is carrying out an independent assessment on whether the steps the body has taken so far are in line with its human rights responsibilities and whether additional steps will be recommended in view of further strengthening the tournament's legacy for migrant workers. Report on Friday showed that Nigeria is ranked 42nd in the latest ranking released by World Football Governing Body FIFA. This latest ranking shows that the three-time African champions have lost 2 places from their rating announced at the end of October. The Super Eagles were involved in 2 competitive matches in November, drawing their first 2 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, 2 nations below them in the FIFA rankings. The Super Eagles are the 6th best team in Africa behind Morocco, Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria and Egypt. Nigeria's Group C rivals in the 2026 World Cup African qualifying series, South Africa, Benin, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, and Lesotho, are ranked 66th, 97th, 124th, 133rd, and 148th, respectively. The Super Eagles Africa Cup of Nations Group opponents, Cote d'Ivoire, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau, are ranked 50th, 88th, and 103rd, respectively. Argentina is still the top-ranked team in the world, followed by France, England, Belgium, Brazil, Netherlands, in that order. We'll take another short break. When we come back, we'll bring you entertainment news. Join us again.
Hello and welcome to Showbiz News Roundup. Big Brother Naija All-Stars winner Ilebaye Precious Odini admitted that she's finding it difficult to adjust to her newfound fame. Though she acknowledged that she made the decision to mentally prepare herself for fame before returning to the BB Naija house, she stated that she is unsure how to handle the pressure that comes with it. In a candid interview, the 22-year-old reality TV star revealed that fame has provided her with a family and numerous opportunities. Actor Sylvester Madu of Nollywood narrowly escaped death following a vicious attack by gunmen at a movie location. The actor reportedly relocated to Bamenda in Cameroon on November 24, 2023 in order to work on a film project. Cameroonian fans also greeted him with great enthusiasm, unable to contain their excitement at seeing the skillful screen god. Some unidentified gunmen barraged a drinking spot where Sylvester Madu and a few others were hanging out, causing chaos among those in attendance. It was discovered that the attack claimed the lives of 4 people and left over 10 with serious injuries. Nigerian actor, comedian, radio and TV presenter, writer, producer, and film director Ayodeji Richard Markman, better known as AY, celebrated himself and his wife, Mabel, in a fresh Instagram post marking their 15th wedding anniversary and 20 years of togetherness. In the post, which has garnered attention, the comedian and actor reminisced about the struggles, beautiful moments, and experiences that have shaped their love life. Shortly after, fans and well-wishers flooded the comment section of the post to extend their wishes. Hollywood actress Shafi Bello was recalled her experiences of being called Shafi by younger people and being waved at, and she doesn't like it. The actress recently featured on the Me, Are, and Everything Else podcast was asked if she had ever been called by a first name by younger people. In response, she noted that there had definitely been times when she had been called by people young enough to be her children. Bello did, however, acknowledge the disparity between cultures around the world, stating that she knows how cultures and upbringings contribute to how people grow. She then added that she'd rather be called Mom than Shafi. The veteran stressed that for anyone to call her by a first name, they have to have earned the right, and quite frankly, younger people can never. She went on to describe how she handles situations when she's called by a name. She also revealed she cannot stand when people greet her with the hi and wave at her, describing how much it hurts her. Afrobeat superstar Rema has cancelled his scheduled performances for the rest of 2023 to focus on his health. The Maven record star has experienced a phenomenal year with many records under his belt. Following successful tours in Europe, Asia, and North America, Rema's sudden announcement is a big blow for his planned upcoming tour of Abuja, Lagos, and his native Benin in December. It was also billed to perform at the Hey Neighbor Music Festival scheduled to take place between December 8 and December 10 in South Africa. The decision to cancel his shows follows the latest achievement of his Countdown song, marking chart history on both Apple Music and Spotify. The mega hit finished 12th on the global top 100 most streamed songs on Apple Music in the past year, the highest entry ever for an African song off the charts. And that's all we have for you today on Showbiz News Roundup. Hello and welcome to Movie Trailer Roundup. Hold on. A woman is demoted and sent to a forest to retrieve the royal staff of a cannibalistic tribe and save the nation. Starring Tony Abraham, Aduni Ade, Odunlade Adekola, Yinka Adeniji, Buki Biola, Omowumi Ajiboye, and many more. Different strokes. Amanda is committed to Eric almost to a point of servitude. However, Eric believes that she checked all the boxes for a good wife, except one. Starring Mercy Johnson, Jemike, Lateef Adedimeji, Daniel Etim Effiong, Deyemi Okolawon, and many more. Directed by Biodun Steven. And that's all we have for you today on Movie Trailer Roundup.
Welcome back. And that's a wrap on Biscon Television News Roundup. I Stella Opara. Thank you for watching.
Prince BC Olatilo, foremost Nigerian multilingual broadcasting legend, ascends the 7th floor graciously on Wednesday, 20th of December 2023. The celebration begins with a birthday lecture on Thursday, 14th December 2023 at the Shehu Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja at 12 p.m. The theme for the lecture is Broadcasting in the Digital Age, Challenges and Prospects for Nigeria, to be delivered by Dr. John Momo, OON, Chairman, Channels Media Group. Parents of the day are Nigeria's first family, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the First Lady, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Chairman of the event, the Emir of Kano, His Royal Highness Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, CFR, Serikin Kano, who will be supporting the celebrant, Prince Bisi Olatilo, to whom Kano was home for 13 years in his life growing up. Prince Bisi Olatilo's memoir will be presented by Sir Dr. Kessington Adebukola Adebutu, CFR. Special guest of honor, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, GCON, Nigeria's former vice president. Royal fathers of the day, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar III, CFR. His Imperial Majesty, Oni Babatunde Adeyeye Nitogunse, CFR, the Oni of Ife. His Royal Majesty, Igwe Alfred Nemeka Achebe, CFR. Chief host, Otumba Senator Benga Daniel, representing Ogun East Senatorial District and Chairman, Senate Committee on Navy. All hail Prince Bisi Olatilo, the man of the moment, who ascends the 7th floor graciously.
The National Council for Arts and Culture introduces the first National Stakeholders Conference on the review of the past 35 editions of the National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST, a platform for holistic and robust deliberations on NAFEST for wealth creation and the key